You're in a good place now. You are listening to Perspectives with Ashley Burgess.
Welcome back live to Live Your True Life Perspectives, and I'm your host, Ashley Burgess. On today's show, I want to talk about change. I want to talk about overcoming adversity and something tragic happening and not ever expecting it. You know, it's interesting when we go through life day by day and things are the same. You know, we have our health, our wellness, our job's the same. Everything is kind of going same. And then all of a sudden, out of the middle of nowhere, something happens. And this particular thing changes your entire life. You know, we don't realize how important our health is until we have health issues. Joining me on today's show is somebody that I admire, that has overcome adversity. Francesca Taylor joins us on today's show. She is a survivor of an ischemic stroke. And if you don't know a lot about these types of strokes, you're going to learn more about it on the show today, as well as you're going to understand overcoming adversity and what that looks like in this situation. Francesca, so glad to have you on Live Your True Life Perspectives. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good, and I'm glad you're on the show because I am very impressed. So what happened? So I know that you said that, there you are at work, taking care of business, doing what you got to do, the day in, day out stuff. And what happened next? And I know that you were saying that was in May of 2017.
Right, May 12th.
And what happened that day?
Well, that was a Friday, and the only thing I was thinking that day is it was going to be weekend. I could come in, wash my hair, do my laundry, just the regular stuff, go to the grocery store, and just, it was noon, and I thought, okay, I'm just going to work through lunch, and 5 o'clock, I'll be out of here, goodbye, and go on. And I had been working there for 3 months, and I had some stress there, but we all have some kind of stress. I had prior for that. I had a job loss and some health things that happened with one of my older brothers, and just some other things that the whole year of 2017 had just been really strange. And I thought, okay, just, breathe and you'll get through it. And while I was sitting at work, I was reading on a computer screen trying to get some, day to day, and I couldn't understand what I was reading. And I read it one time, twice, and this was not like, War and Peace. It was a couple, sentences. I knew this, this, and this. And I looked and I thought, what am I reading? This is ridiculous. And then I thought, why am I reading that? And I looked over my right hand, and it was like ice cold. And I looked at my shoulder, and my arm was flapping like I was trying to fly in up in the air. And I thought, this is not normal. And then it fell, and I was sitting, and I thought, the first thing that I thought, you just had a stroke. I couldn't say anything. I could say 3 words. One of my coworkers passed me, and I said, need help. They turned around and looked at me, and I point with my left hand. I said, me, need help. And my coworker looked at my arm, and I guess I was leaning to the right, and they just said, oh my God, we think Fran had a stroke, call 911. And that's where it started. And I thought, this is a not good thing. And I just thought, why you can't open your mouth and say anything? And I thought, I can't speak. I don't know what to tell them. I know I don't hurt anything except that my right hand wouldn't move. But, I wanted to stand up, and they said, no, don't stand up. Don't stand up. So I sat down, and I was like, need help. And that's all I could say was need help.
So this situation's taking place. You're waiting on the ambulance. I mean, are you just like beside yourself? I mean, are you worried? Are you stressed out? What was going on
Oh,
in your head right then as this commotion's happening around you?
yeah. Freaking out is the best way I could say it. I knew that I was freaking out and I knew I had had a stroke. I could feel it. The fact that when they would talk with me, it felt like white noise. It would go in my ear and I would have to figure out, what did they just say? Somebody would say, are you hurting? Somebody said, where is your purse? We want to try to find your phone. Where's your brother? Who do we call? And it was like a million, pieces of information. And I was like, okay, purse. What is a purse? Phone. Okay, I saw a phone and I point at the phone on the desk, not my cell phone. And they were like, no, 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 your phone, you have a phone. And I thought, okay, I have a phone. What do you do for it with the phone? And I was like, okay, this is not, you know this, breathe and do this. And I had my left hand and I point, that's your cell phone, right? And I was like, huh? And I could say, yeah. By that point, I had, yeah. So anything anybody said to me, it was, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fran, sit up. Yeah. Fran, are you on painting? Huh? And then I actually mastered, huh? Because anything else they said to me was, huh. This was the the medics. This is everybody else would talk to me, huh? And they'll say, okay, we're gonna say this slow. Do you know? And then, yeah, okay, can you tell me what that is? And that was the point. So I could figure out, huh, yeah, and point. And if you stayed it long enough, I would point. I thought this is going to be a really long day.
Oh yeah.
I
So
don't want to freak out. I don't want to cry, but I'm pretty sure I did cry. I remember that. And I thought, don't cry, don't cry. You will get worse if you cry. So I just said, don't cry, just point.
so they kept repeating your name, and they figured out you had a stroke, and by the time they got to the hospital, you said that your two brothers came in right to the hospital room. Could you identify them, or did you not know who they were?
No, I recognized one brother I recognized, but I didn't know his name. The other one, I didn't know who he was. And they looked at me and they said, Fran, and they called me by my nickname, Fran. And huh? They said, Fran, do you know us? And I just said, um, and they had, oh God. And one of my brothers started to cry. And I told him, no, 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 no. And I was like trying to figure out, I'm gonna get together. No, I'll figure it out. And and he said, I'm Vernon. I'm your big brother. And I said, okay. And I pointed at the other brother. He said, I'm Aaron. I'm your brother. Now you remember? And I said, okay, okay. And I pointed him again, and that means say it again. Vernon, say again. Aaron. And I said, okay, Aaron. And he said, Vernon. And he had to point my finger on my mouth to help me pull my mouth. Vernon. Okay, okay. So when the nurse walked in, I point. They said, do you know him? And I said, brother. And I thought this was the first time I said the word brother. And he said, me too, me too. I said, two brother, two brother. They said, you have two brother? Yeah, yeah. And I said, okay, we're getting, okay, your brothers. And I was like, okay. And, I have to say, I actually grew up with three brothers. I had another brother, Michael, and he passed away in 2009. And in my brain, I started thinking somebody else is missing. And I wanted to tell them, don't I have another brother? But they didn't want to put to info in my freight in my brain right now, but there was something missing. And so I missed my brother Michael. And when I realized I have another brother, but he's passed away, that just freaked me out because I was like, wait a minute, there was somebody else to be there, you know? And I have a sister also. She lives in Arizona. And I was like, sister, you have a sister? Yes, I really do. Yes. Where is she? Um, what's that at a place? And I couldn't say Arizona. And they kept trying to tell me Arizona, that's not here where you are. And I was like, it isn't. No, we're not in Arizona. I was like, oh boy,
Mhm.
this is too much info. There's another place that I'm not here that, I don't know the name of it, but it was like things just came in and it was like brand new. And I was like, why don't I know the word Arizona? And I just butchered that word. I just could not, anything beyond and yeah was just, I just butchered. And it was like, good heavens, she can't say, potty.
What happened? So when you were in the hospital and they did
Hmm.
the MRI and the CAT scan,
Oh, wow. That was when they showed to me what happened to my brain. It was the stroke was on the right side. And if anybody knows anything about medical things, it's like everything that happens to one person is not the same to any other person. Certain person could have cancer and it's not just the other person, you know what I'm saying? So
hmm
in my case, they looked at my brain and it was like the left half literally blew out. It was just nothing but blood. It was just void. This is all you have left to work. And I looked for it. I was like, mine? That's my brain. And they looked and they said, do you see what you happened to me? And in my case, communication for me blew out of my brain. That was getting onto the phone. That was white noise. I hated phone because when I couldn't see, they figured out that I could be a really great mimic. So if I saw your lips moving, I would mimic what the word they are saying. And they thought she didn't have a stroke because she mimicked. And I was like, you don't understand. If you turn your head away from me, once again, I don't know what in the words you're saying. So I would mimic. So on the phone, you can't mimic. That was the white noise. And I thought, I'll just hang up because I don't know what they're saying. Beyond hello, that was just, crapshoot. I don't know what you say. You may have said you got $1 million, or you could have told me, your car just blew up. I don't know what you're saying if it's on the phone. I hated that.
you know,
Mm.
when you're in that situation, and like when somebody writes words down on a piece of paper, could you even did you even understand what the word was or what it meant? Or I mean,
Short words, very short words. Cat, dog. But if you ask me CAT, I would write backwards. Everything was backwards. And then when I try to speak, that was backward. I asked for a graham cracker for a nurse, and I backward said crackergram. And they said,
hmm,
no, graham cracker. And I looked and I was like, that's what I just said. They said, no, ma'am, you said cracker graham, not graham cracker. That's what I said. And they figure out, in my case, you're going to do everything backwards. So now we have to tell your brain A, B, C, D. So I would just sit there 2 in the morning, A, B, C, D, and they would say, "You aren't going to go to sleep." No, D, E, F, and if they stopped at H, I have to go all the way back to A, B, C. I was like, this is going to be a very, and I just didn't understand what in the world. Why don't I know these things? I've been reading. This is the wonderful thing about having four older siblings. They taught me as much as I would go to school. They taught me how to read, how to do everything. And because they were older, I would get their books and I would read. They would have music and I would mimic, and my sister would probably kill me, but she was a classic pianist, and I would get up the piano bench and mimic everything, and her fingers would just glide off the keyboard, and I wanted to do what she did, so I would jump up there and do it. And it was like, seriously. I was like, I wanted to be a mimic. So whatever they did, I was the mimic. And that was the first thing I would always say when they come in for school. What did you learn? And they would plop me down. Okay, she wants to read. She's 4, but she wants to read. Plop. Okay, read. And I was like, Mommy, I'm reading. And they was like, yeah, she's reading, Tolstoy or something. It's like, yes, but I can read. So that was the whole thing. So at this point, May 12th of 2017, they look at me at a book and I would like, I don't know what that is. That's called a book. Okay. And why do you have it? I was like, why don't I know these things? And that was frustrating. I would not read. I would never, ever want to think that could happen to me, but it did. And, from speaking backwards to, okay, A, B, C, D, I thought I can't even read the Bible because I don't know those words anymore.
So let me ask you. I know that, and I'm not trying to toot your horn at all, but I do want to put this out because I think our listeners need to know. I mean, you have what, 161 IQ?
Yes.
And so I think our listeners need to realize that too, because it's not like, it's like coming from that position, and like you were talking about, like reading adult age novels at the age of 4 and 5.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, going from that extreme to having a stroke and not knowing how to say brother.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Must have been pretty surreal.
It was, I don't, it was hell. It was hell. And I thought, my mom passed away. She's been gone now 25 years old. And I thought, this is hell. I don't have a mom. My dad passed away when I was 19 months old. So I could realize, okay, I don't have a dad, but I didn't have my mom. And I thought, that's the worst everything could happen to me, is having to tell I don't have a mom. And I thought, what else could happen? What else could be this as terrible than that? My brother Michael passed away, and I thought, okay, I can't cope for all of this. This is too much. I have a small family, but what I have, they are mine. I have 3 nephews. Those are my kids. They're grown now, but I thought, you know what? I will fight for these guys now because that's what else. But I thought personally, what else can happen that's into my world of my body? And that happened. And I thought my brain that's what I live in my brain. My words are just like jewels to me. When I would read, I would think, I would write. I was a journalist. I wrote a book of poetry. So for me, words are my joy to learning that. And then if someone showed me CAT, and I went back, huh? I didn't know that was cat. Okay, show me a cat. I'll show you the broom. If you tell me $1, I can't tell you that's a cat, but that's a broom. And it's like, this is surreal. This can't happen to my brain. I need this. Is there anything else I could give you to make sure that I keep my brain? And I was like, okay, breathe, breathe. When you wake up tomorrow, that'll be fine. This will all bad. I had a dream that I had a stroke. Woke up, nope, you're in a hospital and you still can't spell. I was like, yeah, so yeah, been there, done that.
Let me ask you, because I think, there's a lot of folks out there, and I know I don't know all the ins and outs, and I think that people need to know. So the inability to spell and to really put that together and that function that you've had such a high function was the one thing that really you had to really, we'll talk about it later, but you had to relearn all this stuff. But were you able to walk, and were you able to do those types of things like, motor skills? Did you have those abilities still?
That is a blessing that I did have. My right hand and my right arm were both numb, and it would really feel like it was on a vice grip because sometimes it would turn blue, and I would shake my right hand and they say, "Is it hurt?" And I could say, "Yeah," but everything else I could walk, I could get up and go to the bathroom, I could brush my hair. When I wanted a shower, I knew I would stink, and I said shower, and they said, "Oh, but can you stand up?" I'm standing up now. Yes, so washcloth now. I want a shower, so I could do all of that. And that's a blessing. When they gave my plate of food, that's spaghetti, and I want to eat it. Just step to the side and nobody get hurt. So yeah, I could do the motor skills, and so that was yes, I call that blessing. Yeah, because it had been a lot worse. And I saw it once I went to the rehab center. I saw worse. Yeah, absolutely.
See, and that's what I find interesting because, and I find that I guess some of these strokes affect people very differently.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's the same thing. That's the way I say, like, if a person can say, I have cancer. Well, another person said, I have cancer. And then the hair will fall out. But everybody doesn't have their hair fall out. Some people, it is that it is. I've seen people that didn't have that happen. Some people are alive, and some people pass away. And so it's not just cookie cutter. You have this happens 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so it's not the same. And I realized my not same was my brain. It was my communication. That was the thing that my brain said, wipe, sear like an eraser. Just wipe the whole thing from A to Z, from calculus to the Bible to everything. It just wiped the whole thing. And I literally started back. I had a little book that my mom gave me when I was 6 of children's stories. When I got back, I picked that book, and it was going back to nursery rhymes. I still have it. That was my first book. And my mom's writing is in the front, and it says, "This to help you read more." And I thought, wow, thank you, Mom. You just gave me back first book all over again. 40 years later, you gave me your first book again.
Wow, that's profound.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, that's my mom. And I thought, you haven't been here for like 25 years and you just gave me my book again. And when I realized okay, this is a book, and I'm going to learn nursery rhymes again, and I'll go back and remind myself what did I used to do when I would learn again. I would call somebody and say, "Did you just see what I just did?" And my brothers and sisters would say, "Yeah, yeah, 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 we saw you." But if I called my brothers and sisters and said, "I can hear you," okay, we have ears. No, no, no. You're speaking, and I know what you're saying. I can hear you. And they were like, "Oh wow." And this is the new normal for me. Telling my brothers that I learned something. Call my sister, call my nephews and tell them, "I hear what you're saying. I understand. I remember when I was this year and you used to do this and that." And they say, "You remember that now?" Yes. And it will come back, and just having the ability to make a full sentence. And I'm not just saying, huh, yeah, and pointing. They said I would never go past age 8 in my brain. That was it. And I thought, no, 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 no. First thing I thought, make them wrong. Just make them wrong.
When who said that to you, and when was that after the stroke happened?
It was one of my therapists, and it was the first time I did uh, therapy, and they meant to be. I
That
want to
makes
say
me so mad. That makes me angry, you know?
and the fact that I thought that I was a cookie cutter example of a stroke, and when they kept telling me, "Do you understand the damage in your brain? Do you get that?" Yeah, the fact that I don't know, I could write my name, but after the word Taylor, I had no words beyond that. Yes, I understand what you're telling me, but to tell me, guess what? After age 8, or if you're lucky, 9, that's going to be the end of your world of words. And I thought, you understand, I used to read French just for kicks. Do
Wow.
I would pick up a book and read just because I wanted French and I wanted to know another. I'm like, lady, don't what? And I thought, you know what? Just chill, don't cry, but make them wrong. Just figure it out. Figure out whatever you have to do, figure it out. So I decide, you know what? I won't sleep anymore because I have to learn to read again. I have to learn, math again. I have to learn how to turn on my computer. Any everything that my communication used to have in my data bank of a brain, I have to tell it again. And that even it means learning how to speak again. I had no whole a full sentence was like heaven.
That's awesome. I mean, it's impressive when you're told something like that. And you know, my thing about life is that I do not believe in ever throwing judgment or encapsulating somebody into the small box. I believe that everybody can be heroes and amazing and magnificent. And for you to have that wherewithal and that power within you to say, you know what? No,
Yeah,
I'm not doing it that way. I'm not playing by your rules. I'm not playing by your rules anymore.
no. And see that I think, or I won't even say think, I have to believe that in my heart, growing up with just my mom and my brothers and sisters, my mom would tell us, yes, we're African American and we are here in this life, but just don't stop. Just don't tell you that's what I am and nothing more. I can't go to college. You're never going to be this or that or live in another city or state. You just have to stop there. We were artists. We were, like I said, my sister played classical. piano, and I mean like the good stuff. She just blew my mind when she'd get to a piano. And I was like, this is what we do. We play trumpet and guitar, and my brothers were all phenomenal artists. And that was what my mom told us, do more, do twice, be better. All of us, AB students, all of us. And that was what she told us. You can do more. You can be more. When I was valedictorian in high school, she looked at me and said, you did that. You did that. And I was like, me? What about you? You're the one who told me how to do this. So I'm like, I couldn't get through my speech because I was looking at my mom and crying. And I was like, you told me to do that. And I wanted to do that. I wanted to give that to you. And a lot of people won't know or believe this. That when my mom passed away, I went to the coffin and I gave my mom my high school ring and my valedictorian medal in there because I said, that's not mine. I didn't do that. You did that because of you. So
Wow.
I gave it to her because she gave me the world. She gave me God. We would read the Bible like 24/7, She gave me that. So that life of knowing who God is, and that, yeah, this was terrible, but we're gonna make it through
Wow, that is profound. You,
it.
it's amazing how far you've come, being that the stroke was in May of last year,
Yeah, May 12th.
and we're not even a year.
Yeah, no, we haven't even made a year, and my birthday is tomorrow. So,
Happy birthday!
yeah, thank you, thank you. So, yeah, I have another year. This is the first birthday since my stroke, and I haven't even had the 1 year anniversary of that. But when I think about it, I'm gonna know. But the fact that I fight, I made myself fight of the brain that I have, and I would talk to my brain and say, guess what? You're going to read today. You don't feel like it, but you're going to pick up something. You're going to remember a Bible verse. You're going to remember. I told myself I would learn to read again. I would remember a Bible verse every day. Remember another one. Keep it in your brain. Go to the next one. I would read a map. Just remember this is where another place is. Because remember, I couldn't remember my sister lived in Arizona. Where is that? Is that east or west? So I had to look at a map and go north, south, east, west. This is way, go that way. This is new stuff all again. So
That's all. Did you relearn French yet, or are you waiting on that?
part of it, I do have some. I do, and I have books that I read now, and I have to remember the how to pronounce the words because that is one of the little things that I forget even today. Sometimes I will pronounce word differently, and I have to remember if it has too many syllables. I have to stop and try it again in the phonetic. I'll be like, how did I? And I play games with my brother Aaron. He'll help me to pronounce words again, and he knows that I knows it, and he'll say, "Okay, you know this," and this is the things that he'll tell me all the time. You know this. You know this, and yeah, I know. I know you told me when I was 12, but just tell me again. And so that's our new game. Is him telling me, you know this, and I'm like, okay, okay. I would stop, and she would just take a long word. I'm like, aren't you tired yet? I'm tired. And Oh, no, just try it again. And so that's the new normal for me. So pronouncing words is still a little tricky for me. I can read.
So, what's next on the road to recovery for you, Fran?
Um, I really want to master French again, but I want to travel. I've never really been anywhere great. I want to do something fabulous, especially the closer I get to May 12th. I want to do something for me that kind of remember that how much I've gone beyond just, you know, looking things as half full, half empty. I don't want to do the half empty anymore. I've gone back to the gym and I do kickboxing. Yes, and I actually have really long days at the gym, but I'm wanting to, lose weight, but feeling better because I know these two kind of things can be half and half. So I thought, okay, just make sure your body is the best as you can be so that that doesn't happen again. So, you know, just being better as best as I can. And even if 100% of my brain is not there, um, the portions that I have left, I'll have to kick those a notch up. Okay, that's the only thing I can do. If it's not perfect, I'll get as best as I can.
I think you said something very profound there. It's not about the glass half empty; it's about the glass full. And I think a lot of times in life, until we have a major event like this,
Yeah,
oftentimes we don't see the value of our life.
yeah,
And when you do get this, what looks like a horrible thing, and still is very tough and very difficult to some degree, when we do overcome it and when we see the forest through the trees, it was somewhat of a blessing in a odd, weird way.
yes, yeah,
In a weird way, but at the same time, like you see life different, right? I mean, like like the taste of things is better. It's like every single day is a new day. I was talking the other day on a show about how people talk about same crap, different day, and I go, that is not the way to go through life. It's just
no.
not.
It isn't. It really isn't. And I'm not and I don't want to make it seem like I'm this happy, dappy pepper, person who hops out of the bed and says, "Good morning, sunshine." Yeah, I have some terrible, terrible days. There are some days I just think if I try to smile, my face will crack. I mean, I'll have some bad days, and it's not just because of the stroke. It could be we all have good days and bad days just because it could be for anything. But in my head, once again, I try to remember, okay, but you really could have been something worse. One of my brother has one leg amputation. It could be a lot worse. So if I walk around and says, my feet hurt, my feet hurt, my feet hurt, okay, my brother has one foot. So, yeah, I have a reason to say, okay. And I try to tell myself, suck it up. And I'll say this to myself before I try to get anyone else to tell me, you are so this. Okay, you know what? I know. I know. And if, I've had people that will kind of um make me feel like I'm imperfect because of my stroke.
Hmm.
And but you know what? I could be a whole lot worse. So the fact that I can tell you I understand what you are doing, it's not fair, it's not funny. if it could happen to someone that you know, you would feel really bad. So I'm just going to walk away and let you keep that with you. And I'm going to keep what I have to myself. So goodbye.
That's awesome. I mean, and it's a work in progress. All of us are works in progress. There's
Yes.
no race. There's no race. There's no contest. It's not about who's
No.
better. It's about being better than we were yesterday, and seeing that value and overcoming these issues in our life. And if you could offer some advice to the listeners out there of Live Your True Life Perspectives, what would that advice be?
Oh, wow. Um, I don't want to be schmaltzy. Be better. Be better. Whatever they want their better is, I don't care if they're better job, a better pastor, a better athlete, a better mom and dad, sister, whatever it is. And I'm not putting a value of money to that. I have to go back and earn $1 million. I'm not saying anything about your dollars, where you live, any of that. But if you have something inside of your heart and in your soul and in your mind, if you have anything you tell yourself, I want to get a little bit better at, un, you know, fill in the blank, do it.
That's timely advice. I think anybody out there right now knows, it's all about just being better than we were yesterday. It's about really putting that effort and that heart and that soul and that gumption and that sweat and all that stuff into what we do every day and being better. And I think that that's very profound. Francesca,
Yeah,
I am so impressed by your work and everything that you've done.
thank you.
Wow. I mean, it's
This is
impressive.
awesome. This is awesome. And I just want to say, you keep toot your own horn too. You do awesome, and hey, it can only get better, right?
Exactly. That's the way I think about it. It's getting better all the time, right?
Yes, 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 absolutely, and needs to be that way. And like I said, some days that I wake up and I just feel like, okay, just think about what you didn't have, get up, and do something different. So that's my advice to just me. That's me telling my brain, get up, wake up. We're awake now, so we have to do something better.
I like that. Well, I'll be definitely checking in with you often to hear about your remarkable every step that you're taking, and definitely would like to interview you here back in the future. After you get past that time, and let's see how French is coming for sure.
We.
I love that. I love that.
I remember that word. Yeah, no, I would love to hear, talk in with you later and just chat. Yeah, that's awesome for me. Go Frogs.
Looking forward to having her back on. What an amazing story of overcoming adversity. Being dealt these cards, having a stroke, literally having a huge health problem show up, and having to relearn everything that you've ever known. I mean, yes, in some ways she was lucky. She was able to walk and she was able to do things that a lot of people can't do after having a stroke. But think about it. The thing that she cared about the most, her education, her learning ability, her quick learning ability, the books that she read, the learning that was so valuable to her, she had to redo. And there were certain areas of her story that were so amazing because, there were silver linings. There were awesome stuff that happened. And I do feel that until someone goes through something like this, we don't realize the value that our life is. We don't see that because we haven't had to struggle as far as that's concerned, and so we take things for granted. And I know that I check myself on a daily basis. I check myself when I listen to certain stories, and especially Fran's story, and I hear many stories of overcoming adversity, and my heart goes out to every single person. You know, as a kid, when I was born with a condition that nobody understood, and I dealt with that for my whole life. And that impacted my entire upbringing and everything that I do, how I feel, how I see the world. Because you know what? There were times where I didn't know what was going to happen. And I look back at that and I realize it was a blessing. It is a blessing. Because it really changed my perspective forever. And with Fran, I mean, think about it. I mean, especially all you out there who love to read and knowledge is king. And I mean, to go through that process, to hear the nurse telling you that you're never going to get past an 8-year-old's education or reading level or understanding or comprehension. Wow. To tell yourself, you know what? We're going to show them that they're wrong. Powerful stuff. And I think that this is really key to the human spirit. It's profound. And for everybody out there listening, I appreciate you listening to my show. I appreciate you being an avid listener. And I'm so happy that you get something out of this show, and that's why you turn it on. And that's why you listen to it, and that's why you share it with your friends and family and people that matter to you. Because that's what I talk about in Live Your True Life Perspectives, is finding that true life, finding your calling. You know what I'm saying? Doing extraordinary things, being that person that overcomes the odds, that goes deep within themselves and says, you know what? I am valuable. Even though I might have self-esteem issues and maybe I had to overcome a lot of drama and trauma and negative stuff in my life, I'm still going to do the very best that I can possibly do. I'm going to be the best person I can be. And I'm going to do it every day, even when nobody's looking. I'm going to do it every day, even when nobody's paying attention. That's what I'm going to do. And I think that's awesome. And that's how we have to live our life, because when we stop learning, we stop living. When we don't see the beauty around us, it's like we're just walking around like a robot. When we lost that zest for life, we've forgotten who we are. We are amazing beings that come here in a body that's our vehicle. We are star beings. We are spirit gods that are living a life in a human body. That's what we're doing on this one life. Get it? It's kind of a big deal, by the way, if you haven't thought about it. And it's time for us to embrace that and to realize the power that we have and the power we have within and how we are connected to God and the source. That is the source, right? And how we're all connected. And I ask you right now to begin to analyze in your life, what are some of the things that you've been taking for granted? What are some of the things that you need to embrace? And what are the things that you can do right now to live a healthier, happier, sweeter life that can really impact you? It's time. Time is of the essence. It's your time to shine and to realize how bright you do shine. Thank you for tuning in to Live Your True Life Perspectives. You can go on my website, ashleyburgess.com, ashleyberges.com. Also, check out my YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel. I put new video content up every single week. And you just go search YouTube in Google, and then go to YouTube and search Ashley Burgess. You'll find me. You'll find the content. Hopefully you'll resonate with some of that, and you can share that as well. And in the meantime, You have this one life to live. We come in on our own and we leave on our own. So don't forget to live your true life. Live your true life perspectives with me, your host, Ashley Burgess. We'll be back this time. I'll be back this time in 3 shakes.